So guys, what we're going to be going over is we're going to be going over the watch list and scans tool today. And so I'm going to also show you the login screen, but I'm going to focus a lot on the watch list and scans tool. And I'm going to go into deep detail on that tool alone. So we'll probably only cover that in this full webinar. And then the last 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes of the webinar, I'll open it up for Q&A. So ask your questions away. We'll keep track of them, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. So let's get started. So right here, here's the login screen. So you have right here StocksToTrade, and then right underneath it is a this little like 2.3.1 H8 is the version of StocksToTrade that you're currently running on. So right now, as we're doing this webinar, which is April 23rd, 2021, the current version of StocksToTrade is 2.3.1 H8. If you don't have that version, you're going to want to update your StocksToTrade. And you can just hit us up at support@StocksToTrade.com, and we'll be happy to show you how you can update your StocksToTrade. The next area right here is where you can put in your username and password. This is going to be given to you by StocksToTrade. Depending on what email you use to sign up with StocksToTrade is going to be your username. And then your password, we're going to generate one for you. And if they give you, if you want to change that password because it's just some crazy, letters and numbers, I'm going to show you right off the bat how to do that. And note that when you're going to be, if you want to copy that password and post it into StocksToTrade or just paste it into here, just make sure you don't copy any spaces, because those will be read as characters and you'll get this little error, this little red error when you try to log in. And the best way to just avoid that altogether is to manually type in that password. Remember me, this little box is going to help you, is going to keep it so that your login credentials are saved, so you don't have to re-put those in every time you want to log in. All right, I'm going to go over these bottom features real quick, and then we'll move right into the watch list and scans tool. So right here in the setting widget, you have your graphics engine. This is referring to the graphics card of your computer. So we prefer that you use the OpenGL best performance. That's going to use your best performing graphics card. But if you might have an older graphics card or not a very strong computer, you might want to use Angle Normal, or you can just do automatic and it'll read which one you have and set it accordingly. But I would say if you have a newer computer, always make sure it's set to this OpenGL. Next is scaling. So this is also referring to your computer. If you open up StocksToTrade and it's just really enlarged or really small on your computer, it probably has to do with the scaling settings on your computer. So you're going to want to enable or disable your scaling. So if it's enlarged, you're going to want to disable it, and it's going to help it. And another way to fix it is just to fix the scaling on your computer. And you can hit us up at support@StocksToTrade.com, and we'll be happy to help you kind of navigate your scaling to fix that on your computer. The UI, this refresh rate right here, it's referring to the frames per second. And I'll get more in detail about the UI setting when I teach you guys about the charting tool. But know that despite what you select here on your refresh rate, it's not going to change the fact that StocksToTrade is bringing real-time data. This is only referring to frames per second. So it's going to make a little difference, but either way, no matter what, even if you put it as 1, you'll still be getting real-time quotes and real-time data. The reset is to reset your application, and then the open data directory. This is going to be where your files would be saved for StocksToTrade. And note that this is a download-based platform and not a web-based platform. So if you make any save custom data like watch lists or scans, it's going to save to the files on your computer. It's not going to actually save to a cloud or like a web-based system. It's going to save to your computer. So this is where you can see those files. And then if you ever want to move files from one computer to another, you can do that here in this data directory. And hit us up at support, and we'll show you the process on how to do that. If you have 2 different computers and you want your custom watch lists and all that stuff to move over to the other computer, you can do that here. And then forgot password, that's going to reset your password, which note that your login credentials are going to be for your application, which is what we're showing here, the university site, which the university site, guys, has a ton of, educational content and, tutorials and stuff. I really suggest if you're new to trading, you're new to StocksToTrade, check out our university and start watching some of those videos. It's going to help out a lot. And then it's also going to be for your control panel. So this login credential will apply to all three of those areas. And if you reset that password, it's going to reset for all three areas as well. This last little option right here is going to be where you can open up a support ticket. And throughout the video, I might say, hey, hit up support for this, hit up support for that, for more details of this and that. Here's like a quick little place where you can open up a support ticket with us, but you can also just email us at support@stockstotrade.com. All right, guys, I kind of ran through that really fast because I didn't really want to focus a lot on the login screen. Don't worry, I'll slow it down a little bit for when I'm showing the watch list and scans tool, and we can go from there. All right, and Davon, he's going to be keeping track of all your questions so that we can go over those here a little bit later. Let me resize this for you guys. All right. So this is what StocksToTrade looks like if you just downloaded it for the first time and opened it up. It's going to prompt this tutorial, which right here, you see if I click continue, it walks you through like a tutorial guide where you can actually watch these videos on different features. If you're new to StocksToTrade and new to trading, I do suggest going through these tutorials, but these webinars that I'm going to be doing for you guys is actually going to go into a lot more detail than these tutorials. So, but still definitely go and watch these when you have the time. So we're going to exit out of this. And then, like I said, I'll show you first how to reset your password, and then we'll get into the watch lists and scans tool. So to reset your password, you just go to the setting icon on the top right corner and then edit profile. And then underneath the picture right here, you see replace, where you can change your picture. And then underneath that is change password. So if you click on that, let me pull this up on the screen. This is where you're going to put in that, password we provided, which is probably, very confusing password. You can put it in here, and then you can enter in your custom password and then click OK. That's going to reset the password for all the areas, university, control panel, and the application. And as well, the mobile application, that will apply there as well. So that's where you guys can change your password. Don't worry, I'll get more into these setting tools in a later video. But like I said, we're going to focus on the watch list and scans tool. So for everyone who's new to StocksToTrade, to find this tool, you go to this eye icon on the top left corner and click on it. So this is the watch list and scans sidebar tool. The first thing I'm going to show you is the custom watch list. So if you're new to trading, watch lists are very important. A watch list is where you can keep track of stocks that you're watching either in the day, the week, the month, or even the year. It's really where you can stay organized and keep the stocks that you want to watch that day in one spot and in your view. So we're going to create a watch list first to start off. And it creates this little box right here on the side icon, or sorry, on the sidebar. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to rename. And I know for some of you guys, this might be a little blurry. It's just how the webinar system we're using, it just makes it a little blurry. So I'll make sure to let you guys know what I'm doing or what these things say if you're unable to read them. But right here, this name, it says watch list 1. And I'm going to double click on it. Sorry, let me get my mouse right. And then it highlights. Now I can rename the watch list. So we'll rename it Friday. And now note that if you just click off of it, it's not going to save that name. You actually have to press enter. So I press enter. Now it renamed this watch list as Friday. And the reason you want to probably name your watch list is so that you can stay organized. If you're watching stocks throughout the week, you might want to call it your weekly watch list. If you're watching stocks that are specific to a specific thing, like let's say cannabis, you might want to call it your weed watch list. Or if you're watching like crypto plays, you might want to call it your crypto watch list or anything. And we'll actually just we'll rename this watch list again. We'll name it our weed watch list. And the reason I did that is because the symbols that I'll add here are going to be some weed stocks. So this next tool is add symbol. Now, when it's referring to a symbol, it's referring to a ticker symbol. A ticker symbol is just a set of letters that represent a company that's trading publicly on the stock market. And so as we know, like Amazon is called Amazon.com Inc. That's the official name for Amazon, the business name. But on the stock market, we refer to Amazon as AMZN. And that right there is the ticker symbol that's related to the stock for the company Amazon. Since Amazon is not a weed stock, we'll take it off our watch list here. And if you have any questions about anything I'm doing, guys, just post it in there. I'll get to it a little bit later here. But I'm just going to try to keep a flow throughout teaching this so we can get through some stuff. All right, so let's add some ticker symbols related to weed. We'll do ACB, and then I'll press enter. And then we'll do CAN and press enter. Now, as you see, it added these stocks to my watch list. And so that's like the easiest way, just directly from the watch list, to add stocks. I'll show you some other cool ways that you can add stocks to your watch list through other tools. But when you're on the watch list tool, that's the easiest way to do it. It's just add in the, type in the ticker symbol and then press add. All right, let's get into this little setting right here. So the first setting on your watch list is the filter results. This is a really cool tool, and I do suggest using it on some of the other scans. Maybe your watch list, you don't necessarily need to use it if you don't have a lot of stocks. But if you have a lot of stocks in your watch list and you want to find even more specific stocks, this is going to be really helpful. So it has, a few criteria in here, like price, volume, percent change. And if you put in this criteria right here, it's going to filter through your watch list stocks and only show the stocks that meet the criteria of that filter. So that is an option within your chat or within your watch list. The next is alert on new headline. So the alert on new headline here, this is going to actually allow you to set an alert. Let me show you. It's going to allow you to set alerts on the stocks within this specific watch list for when they hit or have new headlines. And so you have a few options here. You can, you set your expiration date, so you can actually set an expiration date on this alert. If you want it to expire just within the day, if you don't want this alert to carry on for tomorrow or next week, then you can just set it for today. Or if you want this alert to last a whole year, you can do that as well. And then the sound, we have a few sound options, and you can also import your own sound. If there's like a specific sound that you prefer to use for your alerts, you're allowed to do that here. And then the length right here, it's set to play one if you want it, or play once. If you want it to play more than once, what you can do is just click on this right here and you can actually customize it. And I missed the first, okay. And just know, guys, this is being recorded. So if you missed anything, then you can go back and watch the whole webinar. We're going to post it up on our YouTube channel as well as the university. So even if you're not currently subscribed to StocksToTrade, you'll still be able to watch this on our YouTube channel. All right, the next tool is to manage the sound volume. So you can do that here. And then obviously the next two is pop-up. You can choose whether you want the alert to have a pop-up when it triggers or not, or whether it makes a sound or not. Now, message is where you can put that, you could put here, weed watch list, stock hits or has a new headline. There's a new headline within my weed watch list or whatever. And then you just press create. I'm not going to create one on this. When I go over the alerting tool, I'll create one and show you guys a little more about that. But just for the headline alert, I'm not going to actually create it. Now, the next options you have is hide and delete. So hide will just hide the watch list from the sidebar. And so as you can see, that watch list is still here. It's just hidden. And we're going to click on it again to show it. Where delete will actually delete the watch list altogether. And then delete current list will delete the stocks within the watch list. So let's do that right here. So now I deleted all the stocks within the watch list, but I still have my wheat watch list. So if you want to just delete all the stocks and start fresh and don't want to have to create a new one for a specific thing, then you can use that feature. Now the next two options here, save default columns and reset default columns. I'll show you what these are here in a second. First, I'm going to show you the column bar. So let's put ACB back in here. So the column bar is this little darker gray bar up here. It might be hard to read, and so I'm going to pop it out real quick, and that's another feature right here on the top right corner. If you click on that, it actually pops this out so you can move it around and resize it. But for the sake of showing you the column bar, I'm going to pop it out and make it a little bigger for you guys. So the column bar currently, or by default, has the 4 columns: symbol, last, percent change, and volume. And these are referring, and as you can see, the stock is going to show you the data for that column. So symbol, it's ACB, which is representing, ACB is representing the publicly trading company Aurora Cannabis. And then you have last, and last is going to refer to the last price that stock was traded at. Or you could say the current price or the current worth of that stock. And so ACB looks like it closed today at $8.27. And if we were in intraday trading, it would be changing throughout the day as the stock price is changing. And then we have the percent change, which the percent change is just the percent difference between the previous day closed price and the current price. So where the stock closed in price the day prior versus how much the stock is currently worth, that's what they use to calculate that percent change. So it looks like ACB is 3.5% higher in price than it was when it closed yesterday. And then we have volume, which is referring to the volume for the stock, which is 5.06 million. And we'll get more into like volume and these things a little bit later. But this is the current column we have as these four on our weed watch list. Now I'm going to show you how to add columns. So you need to right click on a mouse. If you're on a laptop, it might vary. For my laptop, I do 2-finger click, which is how we do the right click for Apple products. And then right here, you see I have a few options. So I can delete, and as you see on the last is where I right clicked. So I can actually delete this off my column, this specific criteria, or I can add something new to the column. So let's add something. We'll add news right here. So I added news, and now you can see that ACB had one article of news today. So now I see symbol, news, last, percent change, and volume. So you can customize this column bar. You can add a ton of columns. You can add, a lot of columns. I mean, when it's here on the sidebar, let me pop this back in, it gets a little crunched. And so you might want to delete one or add one. But, if you can fit about 5, depending on your screen size, you can always get a bigger screen if you need to. But you might not want a lot of columns on there because it might get a little crunched. But what you do is if you want to save this as your default, so I want to save the news, I always want to see news on this watch list, then I come up here and I can save default columns. And let's say I'm like, okay, you know what, I don't like the way I set it up and I want to go back to my defaults for columns. You just click reset default, and then it'll reset the default. I set this as the default a second ago, but it'll reset it. And then you can obviously save it. So that's how you do that. And then you can always right click in here too and customize it again. So you can delete the news and then it goes back. So that's what these things are for, guys. So this is watch list. If you have any more questions about the watch list, post it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer those a little bit later. But we're going to move on to the next feature in the watch list and scan, which is top scans. So right here, these are great for new traders. These are scans that we have already set up the criteria on, so you don't have to go in there and find the criteria to search for these stocks. These we already did the hard work to set up these scans. All you have to do is click on them, and they appear. So this is the top percent gainers. So when I was referring to the percent change earlier, this is whole scan is built around the idea of the percent change. And so if you guys might have just joined, a percent change for a stock is going to be calculated by using the previous day close price of that stock and then the current price of the stock. And the calculation between the difference is where they're going to get that percent change. So currently SYPR is up 57.30% in price from the previous day close. Now, you might, by default, we have our criteria set in here to show, a certain amount of stocks. So you only see on this sidebar top percent gainers tool, you will only see 20 stocks. If you want to see all the stocks that fall within the criteria that you have set in your filter, then you're going to want to do that in the scans tool, which let me close out. It's going to be right here. I'm going to go over this feature in more detail later on. And so I'm not going to dive into it too much right now. But if you want to see all the percent change based off of the criteria you have set, then you're going to need to pull up the scan from the scans tool and not the sidebar. Just due to keeping it simple over here on the sidebar, we only populate the top 20 that fall under the criteria of your filter. So now let me show you the filter. The filter is super important because sometimes on that top percent gainer list, you might get stocks that, although here, looks like I set this as default. Let me reset columns. Sorry guys, let me just do something real quick and hide this. All right, there we go. So as you can see, there might be some stocks on here, guys, that although they have a high percent change, they're not necessarily good stocks to be looking at to trade within the day. And so in order to find those stocks that you really want to trade, especially as a new trader, you want to come up here to the filter results and put in the criteria that you're looking for. By default, we have this set, but I would suggest, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not a mentor trader, but just from my experience, I've seen that the higher the volume, the better it is to trade. Just lower volume might not have a lot of, trades or, available shares to buy or sell. There might not be enough people buying or selling or opportunities for moves. So what I like to do is I like to increase this to 1 million. And then that gives me a little bit better results, in my opinion, for my top percent gainers, because now I have stocks that are have a lot more volume and are making a lot bigger moves in the day, or a lot quicker moves, you could say, too. And so that's just something I want to show you. I'm going to get rid of this news to kind of create more room. All right, so you can see it's giving me the top results on the criteria that I have. So that's a really important tool to use, guys. Go in and put in all the criteria you feel is the best results. And then I would say, as a new trader, maybe you can just change the volume for now, and that will show you a little more in stocks. But definitely look more into the training videos on these things, and you can kind of understand how volume plays a role in in your trading and in the stocks that you're trading. But the next thing I'll show you right here, so we already went over, you can do an alert on a new headline for this specific scanner, or you can hide it. That's just gonna hide it from the sidebar, And then the columns are referring again to the column bar up here, which you just right click and then you can add columns. All right, so this is the top percent gainers. If you guys have more questions about this, feel free to post a question about it. I'll be happy to go a little more into it. But another thing I will point out is if you don't have 20 stocks, that's just because based on your filter results, there's just not 20 stocks that fit that criteria right now. Now the stock market's not open right now. We're in after hours, and so it's not going to be as active in here. But if we were in intraday trading, you would see there would be a lot of changes in here, and these stocks right here would be moving positions. And right here on the column bar is how you can manage which stocks are at the top of the list. So right now it's filtered to have the highest price stock at the top. But if you want to filter it with percent change, you just click on it. And so right here, it's going to show me the smallest percent change based off of the stocks on my list, or the biggest percent change to smaller. So you just go to one of these and you click on them, and that's how it's going to change the organization of this list. And that also works for your watch list, guys. And then something I will show you right here is if you go to one of these symbols, so we'll go to ABML. If you right click on it, here you can actually add these stocks to your watch list directly from here. So let's say I wanted to add this to my weed watch list, I could do that right here. Or I could add it to a new watch list that I created. Or you actually can create one directly from here, which is cool. So it saves you a little bit of time. So that's a cool little quick thing that you guys can do directly from these scanners. You can you're like, hey, you know what? I really like this stock. You can just right click it, add it to your watch list. All right. And then to open up that stock, all you do is double click on the ticker symbol. So we'll double click on ABML, and it's going to pull up ABML on my tab right here. And this might be a little intimidating for you new guys or new to trading. Just know that I will, in a further webinar, go over all this in detail so you can know exactly what you're looking at and how to use it. But just know that, don't get a little scared because it's, you have all this stuff going on. We'll go over all that. But that's how you open up a stock chart. All right, so we'll close that. Now let's go over, we're going to hide this. We're going to go over the next scan we have on our top scans, which is the top percent losers. This is the same concept as the top percent gainers, except it's giving you the top losers of the day, the stocks that are down the most based off of the criteria you have set in the scan. So this scanner right here, I would say as a new trader, you might find value in it, but if a lot of people will find value in this scan as they're more experienced in trading, they'll know how to utilize the top percent losers as well as the top percent gainers. And also this might be valuable scan for you short sellers as well. So this is also a very great scan you can use throughout the day to just find those stocks that are just down the most. And another important tool here is to filter through, put exactly what you're looking for in here, and it will scan it for you. And then also you can set an alert for a new headline on this scanner alone. You can hide the tool, and you can manage the column bar. And then once again, I'll point this out to you guys. You can right click on the ticker symbol and then add it directly to one of your watch lists that you created. Okay, so we'll hide that tool. We'll get into the next one. Next one is new highs. All right, so this is searching for scans, or this is scanning for stocks that are hitting new highs in the day. So all these stocks right here actually hit a new high of the day right here, and it actually will show you which stocks or the exact time that it hit that high is right here. And then everything else we already went over, the symbol, the last percent change. But this might be a little confusing to some of you guys. This is just the time that it hit that high. So this is the new high tool. This is really important, especially for you that are looking for stocks that are hitting new highs, that are making big moves. This will help show those stocks. And then has the same options. You have your filter option, and then etc. And I will show this again for you guys right here. This right here is actually just a color linking. I'm going to teach this in a later video on how to utilize the color link. So we won't worry about that too much, but that's what that box is for. And then this little icon right here, this little widget, will allow you to pop out the scanner and move it around. So if you have multiple monitors, you can move it onto a different monitor, or you can resize it and do whatever you need to do. And then just to pop it back in, you just select the same option. And as you saw, I actually readjusted the size of the sidebar. You can do that by actually just hovering over this line right here, clicking, holding down, and you can actually change the size of your sidebar. This is, if you want more room on your sidebar, you can actually do that. So that's how you do that. So we're going to take this off, go back in here, go to the next. This is the new lows. So this is going to show you the new stocks that are hitting new lows. That can be valuable information as a trader as well. And as a new trader, guys, I will say maybe, sticking with top percent gainers at first. It's a really good scan for new traders, just to find stocks that are moving in the day, stocks that are having momentum. And so I would say that's a good tool to use as a new trader, and maybe try to understand that scanner first and then move on to these others. But this one right here is the high-low ticker. This stock right here, this scan right here, is a really cool scan, and it can be used as new traders and experienced traders. I would say it can be a little, intimidating at first. You're like, probably, what am I looking at? Let me pop this out right here for you guys so we can see everything. So this scanner right here is scanning stocks that are gaining momentum. So it's basically showing you scans that have momentum or are starting to gain momentum. And so it is a really cool scanner as a new trader if you want to go and find stocks that you're not really sure where to go, but you do know that you want to find stocks that are gaining momentum. And this is the scanner for you. And basically what it's doing here is it's measuring new highs and new lows. So there's two sections here. The first is the new lows. So this is all calculations for those new lows. And it's showing you stocks that are hitting new lows. And it also has a count feature. So the count feature is showing you how many times that stock hit a new low. So Netflix hit the new low 275 times. And then these ones right here, these highlighted stocks, these stocks are showing you stocks that not only hit new lows in the day with a lot of momentum, but they're actually hitting 52-week lows as well. So they're not only hitting their low of the day, but they're hitting 52-week lows, and it's also giving you the count feature. And then it's the same concept for the new highs. These stocks are hitting new highs. And then the highlighted ones are stocks that are hitting not only new highs of the day, but 52-week highs as well. And it has the same features. You can, if you double click on one of the ticker symbols, it's going to pull up that stock chart on a new tab. You can right click on it, add it to a watch list. You can add comments, or you can edit a comment that you put about that stock there as well. And so let's go to the setting icon. So you also have an option to filter here as well if you want to. And then you can put an alert on new headline. But this is something new that you didn't see on the other scanners, the settings option. So by clicking on the settings option, what it's going to do is actually allow you to change the color and select the markets. So if you want this scanner to be only scanning, let's say NASDAQ, or let's say listed stocks, then you could actually turn off OTC BB market stock. And that you can do the If you only want to see OTC stocks or over-the-counter stocks, you can do the same thing by getting rid of these. So you actually have the option to decide which markets you want to show on here. And if you're new to trading, there's multiple markets on the or on the U.S. stock market. As you can see, there's NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, AMAX, and then the OTC markets. And so if you have questions about those markets and what the difference between them, we can go over that later in a different video, or you can hit us up at support, and we have content on the university that will actually go over that, the U.S. stock markets and kind of what the differences are. And then if you are on a trial account, so you're only on a 14-day trial, you actually do not have access to OTC data. And so you might not see the OTC option. It just means you're probably on the trial phase. Once you join the monthly or the annual subscription, you'll be able to get the OTC data as well. And then right here, the choose colors is where you can actually change the colors of this high-low ticker option. Looks like I just hit both of these. Let's go back to the settings. So if you don't prefer to use green as your indicator for new highs, you can just go in here and actually change, say you want to do like a light blue instead of a green. You can do that, select it here, and then we'll do that, press OK. And then we'll change let's say you want to change your new lows to a yellow, press OK. And then by pressing OK, it changes the color for that scanner. Now, personally, I use green and red. It's just it's a good indicator of high and lows, but you have the options to customize that if you want. And then the last is obviously to hide the feature. We're going to pop this back into our sidebar, and then let's hide it. So we'll come back in here. So that's all the top scans, guys. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. But there's all the top scans that we provide on the sidebar. Now, these are not the only scanning options we have for StocksToTrade. We actually have a lot of scanners and screeners. We even have a feature where you can create your own screener. And so, but these are the ones that we've developed to put on this sidebar. And they're more commonly used scanners. They're what we consider our top scans. And the high-low ticker might be a little newer for those experienced traders. You might not see that in many places, but we felt it was a really great scan, so we added it to the top scans. But we'll go on to the next scans on this Watchlist and Scans tool, which is our new scan. So let me get some water here, guys. All right, looks like we're actually almost at 40 minutes in this webinar. I'll probably go a little bit over the hour just because we started late. So I'm going to keep going over these tools, and then I'll get into questions here in a little bit, guys. But the next tool is our news scanner. So here you can also name it. If whatever you want, you just double click on the name itself and you can rename it. And then this option right here to search is a little bit different than the add symbol option that we saw on the watch list. So here I'm gonna, just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna resize this a little bit so we can see these features. This search bar actually allows you to search keywords, and that's really important when you're scanning through news. So let's type in crypto. If you want to find all the news that are referring to crypto today, by clicking in the keyword crypto, it pulls up all these articles that talked about crypto today and which stock that the news was posted on. So that is a great tool that you guys might want to use for the new scanner when you're scanning through, because when there's nothing typed in here, it's just going to give you everything that's been going on in the market, all the SEC filings, everything. And really, there's not a whole lot you could be effective with just looking at every single news article because there's hundreds. So you might want to put in some keywords. Or what you can do, and which is actually cool, you can type in, let's say I do, so do crypto again. You can actually, on this little drop menu right here next to the search bar, you can scan through crypto news within your specific watch list. By me selecting the weed watch list, I can actually scan through news articles specific to the stocks in my weed watch list that are talking about crypto. So that's a way you can actually get, a little bit deeper into your watch list tool by scanning its news on the news scanner. And then right here on the filter, so you have the filter results. And so this is actually going to filter through all the news based off of the stock that it's the stock that has the news. And so it's going to use these filter results on the stock, the stock price, stock volume, stock percent change that are connected to those news articles. Looks like I spelled that wrong. That's why we don't have anything here. But so you will actually filter through the symbols right here for the news. And then another filter option that you didn't see on the other scans is filter sources. So you can actually come in here and select which sources you want this news scan to be using. And so you can really narrow it down depending on which news sources you might trust or you commonly use, or if you have a reason as to why you might want to see one versus another, you can come in here and customize that. The next one is highlight specific news. So you can come in here and actually highlight specific news. You can add it. And so, I could put in here crypto or whatever. And then when I set these, I can actually, instead of having to delete them if I don't want them anymore, I can just come in and unselect them or reselect them instead of deleting it altogether. Or you can just delete it off the list. The next is show news only. By clicking show news only, it's going to filter out all the SEC filings. And then if you want to get rid of all the news and only see SEC filings, you can select SEC filings only. So that's what these two options are referring to, is just filtering one or the other out. And then if you do that and you want to show all the news again, you just come here and select show all. And then obviously we have the two options to delete it or just hide it, the custom watch or the custom news scan that you just created. So we'll hide it now. And we'll move on to the next one. And know that you guys can create multiple. You can create as many news scan as you want, depending on which, if you want a specific news for one versus the other, if you want crypto news or weed or cannabis news or, electric plays or whatever it is, you can actually create different scanners for that for both your watch list and your custom news scan. The next one is the custom Twitter screener. It's a really cool feature right here. It's going to be scanning Twitter. And so anytime someone puts a cash tag on their tweet, it's going to post in here. So this is everyone that's tweeting cash tags. And for those that don't know what a cash tag is, it's basically taking that ticker symbol and putting a $sign in front of it. And it creates the hyperlink to the stock. And it basically is what separates just letters from ticker symbols. And so you could do, LOL. Everyone knows LOL means laugh out loud. But if you put a $sign in front of LOL, now we're referring to a publicly traded company on the stock market instead of laugh out loud. So that little cash tag right there that people are tweeting about, they're basically saying these next few letters I'm about to type in, I'm referring to a stock and not to just any, LOL, OMG, or whatever, else we use in our text. So as you can see, it's kind of intimidating. There's so many tweets. It's hard to use the tool if you don't have any filters in place because there's tweets going out every second about stocks. And those that are new to trading, Twitter is a very widely used social platform for traders. I would say it's probably the #1 social platform used by traders. And so this is why, you know, we thought this would be a great tool to add to StocksToTrade, and the reason we did, because a lot of there are a lot of plays just based off of tweets. So what we'll do here is I'm going to show you guys how to use this tool a little bit better, because at the current state, it doesn't have much use because you can't, you know, one of these tweets don't stay there long enough to actually read it. So the first thing you can do is this search feature works the same as like the news. So you can actually put in, you know, crypto, and now it's going to only show me tweets for crypto stocks or people that are talking about crypto. Or you can put in here the ticker symbol. We'll put ACB, and now it's going to show me all the stocks that are talking about or have tweeted about ACB. Looks like this one was PHEB or PACB, so that wasn't ACB, but it did, you know, filter that out. And let's see if I can do this. I'll do just ACB like this, and now it's showing me only ones that actually typed in ACB only. So that's one of the ways that you can filter through this. Another way, if you go here, you can actually set criteria to your stock for just finding stocks that are meeting the criteria of the price, the volume, the percent change, which is really cool because it's filtering through tweets based off of the stock criteria. And then another is by creating trusted lists. So right here, you can actually create your trusted list right here. We're going to edit trusted list. Let me pull that up on the screen. It's pulled up on my other screen. All right, there we go. So right here is where I can edit the trusted list. So I'll add one. Right here, you can enter the list name, or you can, you know, use add a username. So if there's, you know, let's say someone that you follow on Twitter that you specifically follow for stock market reasons, for trading, you can actually add that onto this trusted list so that only your scanner will only scan tweets that they are posting. So you can, you know, if you have a group of people that you follow on Twitter, you can actually have this scanner right here specifically only for those people. So, and it's right here on your sidebar as you're trading throughout the day. So right there, you can see their tweets in real time right there on your sidebar, which is really cool. And then also you can rename this specifically to whatever the purpose of this Twitter screener is. Now, guys, another thing you can do, and right here I have it set to all. If you do create a trusted list, you just select that, and now it's going to only filter through my trusted list, but I don't have one created, so it's not going to show anything. Later on, I'm going to, in another webinar, I'll show you guys how to actually integrate your Twitter into StocksToTrade. You can add it to StocksToTrade, and so you can actually tweet stocks out directly from StocksToTrade, which is cool, and you know, like post like charts and stuff. So I'll show you that later, but right now we're just focused on this scanner. So let's hide that. We'll move on to the next tool, which is the Halt SSR monitor. All right, guys. So for you new traders, I'm going to quickly go over what Halt means and what SSR means. And then after this, I'm going to get into questions, but I'll try to be quick because I know we're already at 50 minutes. I am going to go over the hour on this webinar just because we started later, but pay attention, new traders, because you might ask this question later on. So, you know, about halting and SSR. So halt, these are both actions done by the SEC to the stock market or to specific stocks. And we'll first go over halt. The two most common halts, the first is a volatility halt, and the second is just, I wouldn't know the specific proper name for it, but we'll just call it the second halt. But we'll go over the volatility halt first. So volatility halt is, you'll see it happens, it's pretty common on stocks that are making big moves in the day. And so if a stock just takes off due to volume, let's say it just starts flying, just went up 100% within a minute or two, what the SEC will usually do is actually halt the trading. So they'll pause all trading. No one can trade that stock when it's halted. And the reason they do that is actually for the traders, for people that are currently in the stock. Maybe you're trying to sell it or buy it. They do it for the traders. It gives the traders a chance to just breathe. It gives them a chance to just be like, okay, what just happened? What do I want to do here? You can still submit orders during that time. You can still submit like bids and asks, but none of the orders are going to be filled during that halted period. And usually that volatility halt will only last for a certain amount of time. It could be a few minutes. It could be 10, 20 minutes. It depends on the volatility halt, but it only lasts for a little bit, and then the trading gets opened back up. And that's when all those things that people wanted to do can fulfill. And it also gives people who maybe aren't in the stock a chance to go and check it out and see what's going on, which is why this would have value for that kind of halt, this scanner right here, because it's going to show you those stocks that halted. And so you might want to go check out why. And whether it's halted going up or halted going down, could determine whether, if you want to get in or not, or take the risk or not. And then a lot of times you'll actually see stocks that will halt multiple times. They're just making crazy plays. They'll do a volatility halt, open back up for trading. 2 minutes later, it halts again, opens back up, halts again. I don't know if any of you guys were trading during 2020, the summer of 2020, but there were definitely a lot of stocks in there that were doing volatility halts back to back to back because they, by the end of the day, they were up like, I don't know, a couple thousand%. And it was all due to volume. The second halt is obviously a much more serious halt. It's when the SEC is actually investigating the company. And those halts can last anywhere from like 15 days to a couple months to even years. So those are also very important, especially if you're in one of those stocks, because you're basically the trading got halted and you won't be able to exit your position or enter a position with that company for however long it's being investigated. So those are the two most common halts. And here on this monitor, it's going to show you those stocks that are halting. See, under this event, this stock halted, and then this stock went under SSR. So now let's get into SSR. SSR stands for short sell restriction, or other people know it as short sell rule. And basically, this was put into place a little bit after, I believe, 2008, after the crash. And the purpose of SSR is to protect the stock from short sellers' volume driving the stock price down. So what it does is it protects the stock from just getting crushed by volume in short selling, if that makes sense. And if this is all confusing for you guys, don't worry. We'll get, hit us up at support. We can send you some more articles and stuff about this, the things that I'm mentioning. But I'm going to, so this part might get a little confusing if you're not familiar with trading, but I do want to teach everyone here what SSR is, just to clear things up. But so SSR, like I said, it's to protect the, the price from just getting crushed on short selling. Now, a lot of people think when a stock gets put under SSR, it means they actually halt short selling, which is actually not true. You can still short sell when a stock gets put under SSR. And now a stock gets put under SSR when it drops 10%. So whenever it drops 10%, usually the SEC will put that stock under SSR and kind of protect it from getting driven down by short sellers. Now the stock obviously can still get, crushed on, volume and just people selling the stock off. But they just want to make sure that volume doesn't have short selling behind it. Because people are actually profiting off of crushing that stock. So what it does is basically a short seller, you're still allowed to open and close your short positions, but you can actually only open and close your short positions on an uptick, or in other words, on the asking price, or in other words, when the stock is going up in value. So this might be a little confusing, like I said, guys, but for those that do understand this, you'll be able to follow me on this. So we, as you know, the asking price on level 2 is usually when those are filled, that's what drives the stock price up. It creates more value in the stock as people are selling their stock off for a higher price. So a short seller is allowed to close their position on that uptick, on that up price. And what that does is it allows that short seller to close out his position without driving the price down. So the price is going up and the short selling is closing his position. They kind of counteract each other, and it protects the stock, but still allows the short seller to close his position, which he could still profit off of, because if the stock went down a ton that day, he could, even closing his position on an ask or on the uptick, he could still be taking gains with that way. So it still allows short sellers to profit. It just doesn't allow them to profit on a bid or on a downtick or when the price is going down. So that's what the short sell restriction is. And usually when a stock gets put under that, that SSR only lasts for the trading day. And the next day when the market opens again, that stock's no longer under SSR and there's no restrictions to short selling. Unless that stock once again starts tumbling in the day, it could get put under SSR again. So something I will point out on StocksToTrade, we're going to open up one of these stocks that have SSR. You're going to see this gold little S next to the ticker symbol up here and right here. Let me open up that watch list. So this was AA. Let's add this to that watch list. You'll let me see here if I expand this. Oh, the market's not open, so it's not gonna do that. I'll show you. I'll go over that a little bit later. But yeah, you see this little golden S right here? That's basically just telling you that the stock is under SSR. That's what that is referring to. It just means that the stock is currently under SSR. Now, if there's an H and it's red, that means that stock is currently halted. So that's just what those two things refer to. We get questions about that often. So the SSR monitor is going to show you all stocks that were put under SSR in the day or halted within the day. And you can obviously come in here and filter through that with the criteria on the stock. Or you can actually set an alert for the stock. So you can actually set alerts. Let's see, did it create the alert down here? Oh, so yeah, you can set alerts. So whenever a stock is added to the monitor, it will alert you. So I'm going to actually remove that. I don't want that on. And then you can do an alert on a new headline, just like I showed you before, with the SSR monitor or with the halt SSR monitor. So this is what this monitor is for. When you're asking what's the value of it, it's basically kind of the stuff I told you. If you're a short seller or if SSR is important to you, you're going to want to know when stocks go under SSR. And then if you're looking for stocks that are having volatility halts, or if you want to know if a stock was halted a little more seriously, you can find that here in this monitor. All right, guys, it's a lot. That was just one feature of StocksToTrade, and I spent a good 50 minutes on it. So don't worry, we're going to be doing these every Friday. I'm going to get into all these other features in StocksToTrade. I just really want to go into detail about each thing, so you guys can best how to best utilize StocksToTrade. All right, let's get into some questions. All right. So someone asked, if we missed last week's webinar, where can we find it? So last week, we actually had a lot of technical difficulties. That's why I covered some of the same stuff Davon did. So we're actually not going to post that one, but we'll definitely post this. And anything that Davon showed you within that webinar, we're going to be covering again, either me or Davon. All right, let's see. I have an iPad. Will there be a mobile version for iPad? So actually, you can, if you open up your, the Apple, I'm going blank here, the Apple Store, you should still be able to find StocksToTrade. It's still going to allow you to have the StocksToTrade mobile app. The scaling on it is going to be a little small because it's going to be the same scaling as like your phone, but you can still use an iPad for that. Do news alerts show if I'm not subscribed to your news chat add-on? If you're referring to the mobile application, no. Let's see, news, like the chat news won't show on that mobile device. But if you're referring to just news, see news alerts, I'm not subscribed to StocksToTrade chat add-on. All these features I showed you today are included for everyone. And so here. So all of those, if you are subscribed to StocksToTrade, whether you have add-ons or not, you'll have access to all the tools that I just showed you today. The news scan, as well as the Twitter, the top scans, all of that. That doesn't have to do with the add-ons. How would I know if the ticker symbol? How would I know the ticker symbol to add on my watch list has to be a penny stock? All right. So a penny stock is anything that's trading $5 or under. And so what you would do if you wanted to look at, you wanted to add specific penny stocks onto your watch list, you could go find those stocks. Let's just say I want to use a top percent gainer penny stock. I could go in here, filter results. I'm going to filter this out, and I'm actually not going to have a minimum. And let's just say I put 5 here, $5, filter. Now I can look here. Doesn't look like much of these stocks have a lot of volume with the percent change, I can tell. But let's say this one right here. This one had, a million. Actually, we'll go to the one that had this one had 800 volume right here. You can actually just go here and add that to your watch list. That would be one way. Or if you already know stocks that are considered penny stocks, you can just go directly to your watch list and then add that ticker symbol in there and just add it to your stock or to your watch list. I don't know if that answered your question, but oops. Stop. I'm just clicking stuff here, just showing you guys where I'm located. All right. How do you scan for companies with earnings? So on these top scans, you're not going to be able to filter that out. There's a specific filter results criteria we have. These are the only filter results that we offer on the sideboard, the side top scans. But to answer your question, there is a way to do that. There is a way to scan for companies that are only with earnings. Now, guys, I'm going to be trying to answer some of these questions for you. So if you're new, you might get a little confused at what I'm doing. But don't worry, I'm going to go over all these features in the future in more detail. But just to answer the questions, I'm going to kind of be jumping around. But to answer your question, you could go to the Screener Plus feature right here. And one of these options when you're creating your scan is the ability to select earnings. So you can do today's earnings, the past 24 hours, or 72-hour earnings. And so this is something, by clicking on it, you can see I can add this as one of my criteria options for creating a scan. So that would be the best way to do that. What do the colors mean in the box? The time, price, size. So the colors right here, white is referring to that stock, the last price that stock was bought and sold at, which, guys, this is going to, like I said, might be a little confusing for some of you. When I go over the times and sells option, I'm going to go over this in more detail. But if you are familiar with it, then I'm going to, then you'll learn from right now. The white is going to refer to that stock was bought or sold, or the last transaction was at the same price that the previous transaction, or the stock was sold at the same price that it was previously sold at. So that means the transaction didn't change the price of the stock. And I'll show you real quick, just because you might be a little confused. Right here in this times and sells, this stock was sold at the previous price of so you can see the price changed here. It was at $8.32. And then the price went up 1 cent. And then this transaction was at the same price as the previous transaction. So it's basically just saying the stock price hasn't changed since the last transaction, where green is telling you that the stock went up in value with the last transaction. Red is going to show you that the stock went down in value with the last transaction. And you can see that it went down and then sold at the same price, is why it's white. And then green went up in price, and then white is representing that it was at the same price as when it went up. So it's the same concept over here on your watch list. The last transaction with this stock was at the same price as the previous one, where ACB, the last transaction was at a lower price, which you can see just happened. Someone just bought or sold 150 shares for 3 cents less than the last transaction. So that's what that's representing right here. Red and green on the percent change just means whether it's up in percentage or down in percentage from the previous day close. And then volume, same thing. Did the volume change? Did the volume increase? Did it stay the same, or did it go down? And then blue, this is just the color representing the ticker symbol. Now, if you have a light theme, if you guys have the light theme, these colors are going to change. And I'll show you, I'm going to be going over the light theme later in a video. But just for those that are wondering, if you have the light, if you use the light theme and not dark theme, which this might be a little blinding for you guys, you might want to close your eyes. These colors might change a little bit. Like instead of white, it's going to be black for the same price versus white. So that, these colors might change a little bit, but for the most part, the green and red stays the same. So let's, I hope I didn't blind too many people there. We'll go back to dark theme. All right. Is StocksToTrade for experienced traders as well? Yes, it is. It is it can be for all levels of trading. If you guys are experienced, there are a bunch of deep, a lot of tools in here that you can really get into and utilize a lot of features. We have Oracle, we have tip ranks, we have, a ton of where you can create like very, very custom scans based off of very custom criteria or indicators. And I'm not trying to scare any of you guys, new guys, but just to answer this question, yes, we have all of these indicators with very custom things. Even on the stuff I showed you today, if you know all of these columns and the value of them, why you would want to show the 5-day high, 10-day high, a close, closed 9 days ago. If you really want to get deep into your watch lists and scanners to show specific things about the stock, you can create that, or you can add that onto your column bar. And so if you're an experienced trader, yes, this is a very good tool for you. But if you are a new trader, it can also be a very good tool because you can use just simple stuff that we set up for you guys. But yeah, I'm kind of creating these webinars more for, very basic stuff to teach you how to utilize the tool. And I haven't yet got into the more deep stuff. All right. What add-ons are recommended for new traders? So I know we had this question a lot on our last, and so I do want to go over this real quick. So the add-on features, I know a lot of you are asking, like, what are the add-on features? What are the prices? I'm going to go over that right now for you guys. So the add-on features for StocksToTrade, there are a few. I actually have them all on here, so let me show you them real quick. And I will show you how to use these in a later webinar, but just to show you what they are. So the first add-on feature that I'll show you is our level 2. So when I open up a stock, this box right here is level 2. This costs $29 a month if you're on a monthly subscription, and it costs $345 a year. So if you do have this added on top of your subscription, that's the cost. And if you're curious as to why you would use level 2, I'll show you that in a later webinar, but level 2 can be very important for a trader to have. And so that is the first add-on feature I'll show you. The next one is tip ranks. So this little feature right here, people were asking like, hey, why don't I see this sell or buy on my stock? That's because this is actually referring to tip ranks. And the reason it says sell is because currently in tip ranks, it looks like our analyst rating, our insider rating, and our hedge fund rating are suggesting that this stock currently is a good stock to sell. Now, this is all based off of these experts, you could say, or these hedge fund people or insider ratings and these analysts, based off of their opinion they believe that this stock is a good sell. And as you can see right here, 60% of the people are saying it's a good sell. 36% is saying it's a good hold. And it doesn't look like any of the analysts on this category are saying it's a good buy. And then you can actually go down and read these analysts' views. And so that's what TipRanks is. It gives you those ratings and kind of gives you a little more insight on the specific stocks. And if you're a swing trader, this might be a very valuable tool for you because it's going to give you more of a long-term what these analysts think about these stocks. So that's TipRanks, and TipRanks is $8.95 a month for your monthly subscribers and $89.95 a year. It's not a very pricey tool, so you should definitely add it if you feel like that will bring more value to your trading to have these ratings. Now we'll get into the other add-on features, which are the chat rooms. So to answer the question of whether those are two good features to have as a new trader, I would say definitely learn level 2. I would say all traders, I think level 2 would have value in. It's a little confusing to learn at first, but as a new trader, you should learn how level 2 works because it's really going to allow you to see how people are valuing the stock. And if you're submitting orders, you're going to want to know where you're at as far as your order is submitted. If you're trying to buy low, you want to know what people are asking for that stock versus what people are bidding at. And so level 2, I would say, yes, is a very good feature to have as any trader. TipRanks, I would say as a new trader, maybe, if you find value in those analysts' opinion, that would be helpful. But I wouldn't say, 100% base your trading off of those analysts because it's just opinions about the stock. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. But these chat features, I would say a lot of these are great features to add or great add-ons to add value as a new trader, especially if you want to learn from these guys that are in these rooms. So our pro chat room, this chat room is reserved for our StocksToTrade team members. It's not an add-on feature. It's only available for those that sign up for StocksToTrade team. We'll post a link in here about where you can actually apply for StocksToTrade team and learn a little bit more about it and its pricing and everything. But the pro is for StocksToTrade team traders. Breaking news is our breaking news add-on, and this is actually $49 a month or $490 a year. And what this is we have our breaking news analysts, which are former Wall Streeters that have over 20 years of experience that are just filtering through those news. You guys saw that news scan. There's so much news. And every day, so many stocks are posting news. And so these guys have the experience and they have, they know how to filter through all that chaos and news and really pick stocks that have relevant news to the market that could potentially affect the way the stock moves. And so they're in here sharing that, as well as it is an open chat room. So there's a big community of breaking news members here that are also talking about the stock market and talking about what they're doing and everything. And you can actually see what they're talking about, like everyone's talking about, or if you want to just filter out everyone except for the analysts, you can do that here. The next room, and so yes, as a new trader, you're right there, these guys are doing the work for you to filter through all the news. So as a new trader, yes. And as an experienced trader, yes, it's a great add-on. This right here, we haven't released this yet, but this will be attached to our add-on feature called our Oracle Daily Direction Alerts. Currently, this add-on feature is where you get 2 alerts a day, and it goes directly to your email. And so you get a pre-market alert and then a midday alert. And that alert actually gives you, as a reason as to why that stock is getting alerted. And then it gives you a suggestion signal price to buy it at, a target price, and a stop loss. And they're all just suggestions. But and then it also tells you about all the stocks that Oracle has recently alerted and just how they're doing for like winners versus losers versus positions we're still holding as Oracle Daily Direction Alert. And so this tool is actually an add-on feature that you don't need the platform for because it goes directly to your email. And so you can add on that feature without actually having StocksToTrade if you prefer to just have an alert. But we are eventually adding a cool little feature on the platform itself to correlate with that. So no one's going to see this. This is just something on mine. All right, breaking news breakouts. And sorry, the pricing for Oracle Daily Direction Alerts, or we like to say ODDA, is $97 a year, $97 a month, $970 a year. And then the breakouts and breakdowns room. This room is awesome. It has two of the mentor traders, Jack Kellogg and Kyle Williams. Both these guys have crushed it. They're both plus millionaire traders, and they have a ton of experience. They know what they're doing. They know how to swift through the market, and they're in here every single day, sharing what they're looking at, sharing their trades, answering questions. This is an open chat room, so there's a community in here of guys working together and engaging with these two mentors. And so you have the option to engage with everyone or just see what the mentors are posting in here. But this is a great tool. And all these add-ons also have university attachments. And so you get even more stuff in the university attached to these, like scanners and screeners specifically from these guys that you can put into your StocksToTrade. But this room is specifically with Jack and Kyle. Small Cap Rockets is kind of the same concept, but this is with Matt Monaco, John Papa, and Tim Bowen. And so they're in here doing the same thing, posting about the things that they're trading. And guys, as a new trader, even if you're not trading yet or you're not ready to trade, it's good to see what these guys are talking about and doing, because even if you're not following their trades exactly or whatever, it's good to see what they do and how they approach trades, how they open the position and how they close it. It's all in here, and you can really just start follow along and see how these guys are trading. And you can ask them questions, which is great. And there's a lot of other experienced traders in here that are happy to answer questions and help you out as well. Really, everyone's in here helping each other. Now, the only difference with, I would say, the breakouts and the small caps as far as engagement is this room only opens up during a certain time during the day to ask questions. For the most part, it's closed, and it just has the mentor traders in here posting. And then, so this room is $50 a month or $500 a year. Now, options, we haven't released anything yet for this, but this is something in the future. So it looks like since you guys saw my account, you get to see what we're some of the things lined up. But those are the add-on features, and those are the prices. I know that you guys were asking about that yesterday. I hope that clarifies some of that up for you. And both as experienced and new traders, all these add-on features can add value to StocksToTrade. Now, there's hundreds and hundreds of features and tools, even without these add-on features, that you can use in the platform. And so even if you don't have these add-on features, there's still so much you can do with StocksToTrade. All right, let's see where we're at in time. Okay, it looks like we're already 20 minutes over the hour. So guys, I'm going to actually cut it off here. We did take down every question, and so I can refer back to them, and we can reach out to you guys and start answering these questions. And even in the next webinar, we can address some of these. It looks like someone just said price for small cap rockets. That was $50. Did I? Oh, you know what? I didn't give the price for breakouts and breakdowns. So the price for breakouts and breakdowns is $100 a month, a month, and then $1,000 a year. Small cap rockets, $50 a month, $500 a year. I hope that clarified some things for you guys. And just know that you can always reach out to us at support. We'll be able to show you those pricing If you're already a current subscriber to StocksToTrade, you can go to your control panel. You'll see those pricing options, and that's where you can actually add on those features. And if you are new to StocksToTrade, you can actually trial some of these rooms on top of the platform for 14 days. So there's ways you can do all that. All right, guys. I think we're going to cut it off now. I know that you guys want to get your weekend started and get ready for next week's trading, and go enjoy your family and friends and whatever you like to do this weekend. Relax. Thanks again for joining in, and we have all your questions, so we'll get into it later. And thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. And so have a good one.